Is there any area in which you feel some sort of conflict about the way that you're, and films, I mean, some films that you've made, like State Property. Hate me for this question if you want to, I don't care.
I just want you to ask it.
Fair enough. Are you conflicted the way he was in any way?
Yeah.
And what way are you conflicted?
Well, the first part of my life, I was young, and I made a lot of money, I think, putting a lot of wrong values into the world. And the repercussion of it was watching my family, my younger cousins and nephews do the wrong thing based on what they thought was the right thing. And I know I was directly responsible for a lot of that. And as you evolve and grow, you know, that's the reason why I don't make hip-hop music anymore. Because I could never watch a kid rap about something negative and me knowing that a bunch of other kids are going to follow it and be a part of it. The karmic repercussions of that are very severe, and it's just wrong. So definitely, the way I've combated that is by changing the hustle. You know, and as an individual, you evolve as you grow. I'm quite sure Nicky Barnes today is not the same person he was 30 years ago, and he probably would go about things a lot different. But I think because of his ego and because he's so stubborn, he would never publicly admit it.
And when actors do films about gangsters, they get praised. But when rappers do music about gangster life, they're vilified. Why do you think there's that distinction in society?
In music, a rapper, when he speaks, it's a truthful point of view. You understand what I'm saying? It's a reflection of oneself. An actor is acting. So I think the reason why is because, you know, an actor is just doing a job. He's stepping into a role. But when a rapper raps, he's speaking on his personal feeling and his point of view and the representation of them. And that's the reason why. You know what I mean? One is acting and one is real.
I would say that we get the same criticism making a documentary. You know, we've asked the question, well, why would you ask us what our social responsibility is, but not ask, say, American Gangster or some of these other films? And it's exactly the same thing. I think people hold you at a higher level and have a higher expectation for you in that regard.
Well, do you feel that that is correct in holding at a higher level in that regard?
Well, I mean, I think everyone should think about social responsibility no matter what they're watching or listening to. But, you know, there's also a sort of acceptance of some things as entertainment and some things as education. And I think that that line can be blurred, and it can be blurred successfully, and I would say that this film does that. So, you know, I hope that what it seems to do is provoke a strong reaction, and then that gets people talking and hopefully thinking, and, you know, that's what we think will be most successful.
Glorify gangsterism and crime, and that sort of thing, you know.
Nobody answered that question?
No.
Let me make it mathematical for you. Sell drugs, make a lot of money for a short period of time, and you end up dead or going to jail or snitching on your friends. So any intellectual or intelligent individual would look at that and say, wow, if I sell drugs, I'll make a lot of money for a short period of time, but I'm going to either dead or in a witness protection program or in jail. So I don't see how it could possibly glorify. It's just showing the whole equation.
When you're speaking on young minds, do you think they're able to grasp? I mean, because so many of them are doing that. So is it possible that?
I think the responsibility lies on the parent to translate that equation. But yeah, I think as someone that was young, yeah, if I saw somebody, as a young individual, I saw someone sell drugs, and then I saw them die, and it made me not want to sell drugs. So yeah, definitely. I think we can't underestimate the youth like that. I would never want to think that anyone's that dumb. But yeah, also I think it's also sometimes the person that's delivering the message as well. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I'm credible enough within that demographic that they would listen because it's coming from that source.
I would. Another part of gangster life in Harlem in the 80s, but then now you switched to the documentary form. Why did you want to switch? Why didn't you want to do something more narrative as opposed to documentary?
Because narrative costs a lot of money, and you need a partner for that. And this costs way less. To make a movie in Hollywood costs at least $50 million, especially a period piece, to make, and another 50 to promote. That's $100 million. And no one's going to invest that kind of money unless they can control it and unless they believe in it. And as I said before in the very beginning, no one believes in it, and look what happens when someone controls it. you get American Gangster. No disrespect, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't get the real. I'm an independent individual as it is, just by right. I don't want to be told how to make this movie. So the way to make the movie would be to show it so people understand it, so everyone can get on the same sheet of paper.
How has Harlem changed in your eyes? And has it changed for the better? Do you think that what's going on there, the gentrification, is a good thing, a bad thing? What do you think?
It's inevitable in Manhattan that everything will be upgraded. Any piece of land on this island will eventually be something that will be made profitable, period. Whether it's Harlem, the Meatpacking District, or Tribeca, any part of this island. So that's inevitable. There's nothing you can do about it. But the ideals, the mentality is totally different. And he was the first nail in the coffin for that. He was the most influential. He was the biggest nail. He was the one that made it all right to say. And again, like what you have to understand is when you come up and born into Harlem, selling drugs is just a part of life. You know what I mean? You've never been a place, like if you're in a neighborhood where they never sell drugs and all of a sudden somebody comes in and sells drugs, then you're shocked. But if you're born into it, it's a condition. You understand what I'm saying? So it wasn't even looked at as a bad thing. It was looked at as economic. A lot of people from Harlem never leave Harlem. They don't want to go get a job. They don't want to be told what to do. You know, whether it's excusable or not, it just is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? So within that, you have to have honor. You have to have rules and regulations, regardless. Whether it's not the rules of America, it's the rules of Harlem or any neighborhood like Harlem. And if you don't live by those rules, you're supposed to be shunned. Your back's supposed to be turned. It's not supposed to be acceptable. And what happened was the one that was the president of those rules, the one that damn near wrote the rules, violated them. So what happened was everyone else that didn't have strong people around him said, well, if Nicky Barnes could do it, why can't I? And that's what happened. And that's why Harlem is where it is today. That was the beginning of the end.
Will Harlem always be interwoven in your film projects, or do you hope to do things way outside that frame reference?
Nothing about the Woodsman or Tennessee, because it's not called Harlem, it's called Tennessee, or Shadowboxer, has anything to do with Harlem. But I'm from Harlem, you know what I'm saying? So I understand it, and I know the value of it and the importance of it. And I really do believe that Harlem is the genesis for the whole world. It's like the heart and the blood that pumps the whole world. Everything around the world, to me, is a watered-down version of something, and they don't even know it. But because Harlem dictates style and attitude and swagger, once it hits France, it's already been through America, it's already been through Brooklyn, it's already been through Manhattan. It all starts in Harlem.
What's next for you, James? What's next for you?
What's next for me? I mean, evolution, you know what I'm saying? I just continuously want to evolve every day, all day. Mm-hmm. Just like she said, like, yo, how did you go from, you know, how do you feel about the guilt that you felt about the way you did Rockefeller? It's just like the guilt I felt about how I treated my mother before she died. I wouldn't do it now. You know what I'm saying? As a 36-year-old man, I have to evolve every single thing that I'm doing, whether it be my movies, my clothing, even the way I am as an individual. I'm just constantly trying to make myself better and create opportunities for the people around me that deserve it. So I have so much, there is no such thing as what's next, it's what's current. You know
I'm sorry, I meant more.